Hey web swingers, today we have a very special and surprising unboxing and review. Totally caught off guard by this, did not expect to have this in hand so soon because Hasbro literally just announced this about 3 weeks ago. Big Bad Toy Store got it in, got my email that said it had arrived, was really shocked and surprised, had to double check it, and of course shipped it out right away and everything else that was in my pile of loot. So wanted to share this with you guys. Take a look at Emo Toby up and close. Let's go ahead and open this up and dive right in. Alright, let's go ahead and get Toby out. We can see the mask sculpt that he comes with. He already comes with the unmasked sculpt on. You see the symbiote accessory and the extra hands that we have. And a little bit of a struggle for me to pull him out, but alas, I'm able to pull him out. And his poor neck feels like how mine does when I sleep on the wrong side of the bed. The first thing that I did notice while taking him out of the box was that upper torso is a little bit wobbly. I wanted to look to see how the silver was going to come out and clash with the black paint that Hasbro decided to use for this figure, or maybe just the black base. Can't really say that it's paint. I'm sure that there is some paint of some type, but wanted to see how the spider logo looked and if it continued up into the back there underneath. So yep, still seeing a little bit of that wobble there. Not sure how much that's going to bother me overall, but the silver paint does look pretty cool. I like the finish that they have and they used for it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Tobey Maguire head sculpt, aka Peter Parker from the film, and overall by Hasbro standards, this is a pretty dang good head sculpt. Really like it. And with that being said, let's quickly pop that head sculpt off. Why? So we can see what that masked sculpt looks like. Very curious to see how these web lines are going to come out, because that seems to be an ongoing issue for a lot of Spider-Man figures that we get from Hasbro, is that the web lines are either off-centered, not perfectly placed, or they just look funky for some reason. So you can see here that the web lines are indeed on the mask sculpt, and overall the lenses and the paint apps are actually pretty decent on this one. Surprised that we can see it looks like it's a little bit off-centered, but I think that may be just the way that most of them are going to be built. Let's go ahead and actually compare it to the picture that we have here on the box. I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on this, and if the mask sculpt actually looks like the photo that we have here on the box. My opinion, it's not 100%, but you know, it's probably the best that we're going to get from Hasbro. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the sculpt overall and see what the articulation looks like. So please bear with me. This is my first time reviewing a Marvel Legends, so I'm definitely open to any comments and suggestions on future videos. We'll take a look here at the arms and see how those move. As arms should, with that double joint in the elbow there, and that would be on both sides. And we'll take a look at the legs and how those move up, back, swivel here on the thigh, same thing on this thigh. Let's go ahead and take a look at the knee bend and that double jointed knee there. This one was easier than the other one, as we're about to see right now, because there was a little bit of a struggle that I had. Take a look at the ankle. All right, now to the troublesome knee. Yeah, this one I had a little bit of a hard time bending. Eventually get it to go, but it may be just my method, and like I said, my first time going around and actually playing with one of these Marvel Legends figures is the reason why it took me so long to get there, but eventually do get there. Now let's take a look at these shoulders and see how this actually adds to Spider-Man's articulation and gives him a wider range of motion. We see that there are two swivels on both biceps, and they are able to move and add to his range of motion again. He right now has the fisted hands in place. Hasbro did make sure to give us pairs of hands this time, and more than just one. We see a signature thwip hand here, but previously in the past they've only given us one of each, whether it be a fisted, a thwip, or a wall crawling hand, but Hasbro made sure to give us a left and right of both, which is fantastic. Finally glad that they did so. And here is one of the wall crawling web hands, and we see that these hands actually look pretty cool. I like the way that the silver came out overall. Let's go ahead and take a look at the new Symbiote effect piece that we're all excited for. This is a brand new sculpt that Hasbro put together for this figure. It looks pretty simple overall. The sculpt, the details look pretty cool. This goes over the unmasked Peter Parker head sculpt and definitely adds to the figure, so I'm glad that they included this for us, and I hope that means they will include new sculpted effect pieces later in the future releases. Feel free to learn from me here, because I thought that this effect piece would just pop right over Peter's head very easily, and it was just that piece that actually went over. Actually, not the case. We're actually going to have to remove the Peter Parker head sculpt to be able to put on the effect piece, so let's go in and pop the head off. We'll take a look here at this little detail. So you can see that there is this part that actually goes over the ball joint here, and Peter Parker's head will pop on real nicely and very easily. And let's do that right here. And okay, it is the way that it's supposed to be. Okay, yeah, this definitely adds to the figure if you're going to use the unmasked sculpt primarily. It is a cool addition. It's definitely not an effect piece I would have thought of on my own, because honestly, I never thought that we'd actually see a release of this symbiote suit from Spider-Man 3, so I'm happy that we have it. Let's go ahead and compare it to the photo on the box. Now, this is a prototype, and obviously the final product is going to look a little bit different, but overall, I mean, I'm very happy with this head sculpt. It looks pretty dang good in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look and have Spider-Man take a little twirl for us so we can see what he looks like with the effect piece there. And yep, definitely looks like the symbiote is taking over or trying to leave, however you want to have it. Now let's go ahead and make sure Spider-Man is properly stretched before doing some poses, because you know he is a little bit older and you want to make sure you don't re-aggravate old injuries like this.
My back! Oh, my back!
Alright guys, I'm going to be completely honest here. As I mentioned before, this is my first time reviewing a Marvel Legends, and it's probably one of my first time posing one as well on camera. I gotta say, I'm very novice at it, and I am definitely open to any suggestions and any helpful feedback in the comments. Let me know. Everybody has to start somewhere, so I figured I'd give it a shot here. Simple thwip hand never hurt anybody, because Spider-Man always needs to whip up bad guys. This next one here kind of reminded me of the Secret Wars pose. Of course, not exact. May look more like jazz hands to you, but hey, thought I'd give it a shot. Wanted to try a few different things. Wanted to see if Spider-Man can stand on one foot, and actually found this relatively easy to do. Surprised myself here with this. Next, I wanted to try a superhero landing pose. Let's see, take another angle of it. Not the best, but hey, we'll see if I'm able to improve moving forward. Found this old stand laying around and wanted to put Spider-Man in sort of a free-falling pose. Thought it looked pretty cool. If anyone has any stand recommendations for Marvel Legends, I would greatly appreciate it. Naturally, next I would have to put Spider-Man in a double thwip pose as he's throwing out some web. Up next, we see my attempt at having Spider-Man web swing. Had Spider-Man in this pose and instantly reminded me of one of the wrestling greats, HBK, Shawn Michaels, or if you're a newer wrestling fan, one of the signature poses of the Young Bucks. This scene and pose when Spider-Man first gets the symbiote is iconic, and naturally wanted to try to recreate the pose the best that I can. I see the vision. Execution is probably not the best, but it also reminds me of this meme and us when we used to be kids in the pool being Spider-Man. The last pose I decided to do was a pretty simple one. I went back to the unmasked sculpt and the symbiote effect, used the wall crawling hands, and kind of made it look like Peter is trying to battle with the symbiote and remove it. Pretty simple, and just wanted to show a few different angles of it. I'm very curious to see what poses you guys are going to be able to do with Spider-Man, and look forward to learning from you guys. Overall, I have to say I am very happy with this figure. I'm excited that Hasbro was able to take a look in the past and give us this figure from the Raimi trilogy. Hopefully that means they are willing to do so and make us more figures from the older Spider-Man movies, revisiting characters that they've done with new molds and making some villains that they never looked at and never built before in the past. So what do you guys think about this figure? Excited to hear your thoughts and what you guys think. Please let me know any feedback that you guys have, and hope to see you soon.